Hey folks, welcome back to another HP Gaming GameLINK video, and today we are talking all things crowdfunding. Once again, this is our next episode of our web series. We've got all sorts of goodies for you, including some absolute epic freshly backed games to discuss. So let's get into it. This is your February 2021 Gotcha Backer. Yes, welcome back. It is that time of the month once again. For those of you who don't know me, and you should by now, my name is Matt. I am a crowdfunding champion of sorts, and I am here to take you through all of the games we have backed here at HP Gaming over the last month. And February has absolutely been an amazing month. I did expect that big things are on the horizon, and I have not been disappointed. In fact, today alone we have had several games join the ranks of our backed titles, but you'll hear more about those in next month's video. As it is, there is lots to get through. Just a quick note too, though, folks, some of these games at the time of recording are still running on Kickstarter, so you can get in on the action. If you are one of our Patreon subscribers, you're watching this in February 2021, by all means jump on board. If you are watching this in March and wondering what I'm talking about, please head over to the Patreon page and join our gamer army and become one of our gamer generals at the address on your screen, www.patreon.com/hpgamingau, and you will be able to get in on our pledge managers as well, which is awesome. But without further ado, folks, let's talk about some project updates from stuff dating back as far as, before we started doing the Gotcha Backer series. Okay, folks, the first game I want to talk about is one that I'm really excited for, really anticipated, particularly because we are now able to get people coming back to our homes. We're out of lockdown, we're out of our snap lockdown as well, and we're going to start getting back to the table with everybody around the table playing some serious hardcore gaming. This one did have a few slip-ups here and there. They had a few production errors and things across the board, but they are still on target and still on schedule for their late March, April release for this year, and that is Who Goes There. Now, this is a game that is very reminiscent of The Thing. It's based on the story of the same name, Who Goes There, and it's very much an homage to the John Carpenter film and the short story of the same name, John Carpenter film, The Thing, of course. So secret identities, everyone starts the game as human, but eventually someone becomes assimilated, for lack of a better term, and it is on target. It is hopefully less than a month away, so I'm very excited to get that to the table and show you what it's all about. We will keep you up to date as that becomes available, as it reaches us here in Australia. Who Goes There is so far away, so close now, I can almost taste it, which is awesome, and I look forward to getting groups together to smash out some sessions of that one. Very exciting stuff ahead. Next game I want to talk about is one that was backed by us, I should say, before we started doing this series. So it's been around for a little while. It was around in a different version before the Kickstarter campaign hit the interwebs, and it's by probably a company that is more well known for more bigger, bolder and ballsier games. So this is their smaller division. I am talking about a game called Siege Storm, and it's Siege mode, and this is what the box looked like for the all-in Kickstarter pledge. This is by Awaken Realms Light. Now, Awaken Realms is a name you should be familiar with because, let's leave it there, because, they produce some amazing things such as, Tainted Grail, Etherfields, and of course Nemesis, which we might even come back to talk about a little bit later on in this video. But Siege Storm is a card battling, deck constructing, dueling epic game where your deck also represents your life. If you cannot draw cards from your deck, you are depleted and out of the game, which is a great little mechanic and really causes some strategic gameplay, because you have to use cards or burn cards from the top of your deck to pay for the card's costs if you wish to put it on your war track. So you've got some real strategic options and opportunities there, which is awesome. I really like Siege Storm. I love the solo element as well. Great deck building. The card art is fantastic. And the reason this is on our project updates list is because there is potentially an expansion in the works, including a new PvP faction, Pirates, which we're excited to see as well. Whether that's going to come to Kickstarter yet, it's anyone's guess. At this stage, it's possible that that will come to Kickstarter sooner rather than later. But you can see here the artwork. I mean, it's a great game. If you get your hands on a copy of Siege Storm, particularly the Siege Mode box set, it's definitely worth a look, something worth considering. A lot of deep strategy and very simple card playing game. Yeah, so hopefully they'll get a chance to put out an upgrade, a bit of an expansion. And if they do, we will let you know here on our web series, Gotcha Backer. Now, I meant to at the outset mention we have been receiving a few of our Kickstarters of late, and for those of you who watch this series from episode 1, you will see some of those things that we've talked about backing have already arrived. The one in particular I want to talk about is, of course, Poopocalypse, a card game for immature people. It arrived, we unboxed it, Charlotte and I went through the cards, and we've had many a game, and resolved to dishevel into fits of silly laughter and giggling, so much so that we use the Poopocalypse cards and language in our everyday conversations, much to my wife's disgust. Poopocalypse is here. We are going to be recording some playthroughs for you, and if you are one of our gamer generals in our Patreon army, you will have already seen the unboxing video, and it comes with a warning because it just degenerates into absolute chaos, as you'll see. Yeah, a Poopocalypse is here. It's arrived. Very excited to show you how that works. Very simple and silly little game. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So if you haven't already, check out that unboxing video, and there'll be a playthrough in the not too distant future. Poopocalypse is here. Another game that has arrived, and you'll see there's a few more here. Code 3, the Hunted series has arrived. Obviously, Theatre in a Box has arrived as well, but one in particular that has arrived recently on our doorsteps, and we are about to shoot an unboxing for this very afternoon, is our wonderful little game called Pitch and Plaques. Now, Pitch and Plaques is like a mini golf construction game where you basically, effectively, if I can position it right, build your own course. Now, this is one of those weird ones that I found on Kickstarter out of the blue, and I'm very happy that I backed it at the level I did. Not only did we get a few extra surprises in here along with all the additional components, we got a carry bag for all the bits and pieces. The carry handle on the box is awesome as well. About 1,000 or something plus different combinations of courses that you can outline, and then you're literally flicking a golf ball around the table, little wooden ball around the table, trying to land your ball in the hole first or in as few strokes as possible. A lot of components, a lot of parts and pieces in there. Very excited to unbox this one and have a bit of fun with this in a game that's a little bit different from your standard board game fare. But that's Pitch and Plaques that is here as well. Very excited to show you what's in the box later on this month. Okay, now to some news that is great and exciting, but not, but is, but still. COVID has absolutely caused massive delays, and we are still feeling the ripple effects, especially here in the little old land down under, partly because shipping containers across the world are now basically skyrocketing in price because there's only so many shipping containers and everyone wants to get on board. This company, which we've already mentioned in this video, Awaken Realms, we're talking about Nemesis, for those of you who haven't already cottoned on, are desperately trying to get Wave 1 shipping and a few things done. And you may remember when we first talked about Nemesis, it was due to arrive in February for my birthday. That has since passed. They are hoping and praying against hope that they will be on the next dock or next boat out following Chinese New Year. They have 25 shipping containers destined for different ports around the world. That is a lot of Nemesis. And so hopefully once that happens and the ship's dock, we'll be receiving that towards the end of March, early April. Fingers crossed, that unboxing is going to be epic. There's going to be a ton of people that want to play that game with me. We've got a little gamer group that wants to get back into playing some more hardcore stuff. So I'm hoping that that timeline still stays true. If that changes, obviously, we will let you know in our next episode. But at this stage, Nemesis is on par to arrive, hopefully late March, early April, all things permitting well, once we come out of Chinese New Year and there's no more COVID backlash. But otherwise, we will get back to it and let you know exactly what happens with Nemesis and other updates as we move forward into our next video. And there you go, that's all the project updates that I wanted to talk about for February 2021, but now it's time to get into the good stuff. I am super excited to share with you some projects. Now, we've talked about this in our December update as well. Not every game that I'm going to talk about here is backed on Kickstarter. There are now multiple crowdfunding platforms, as you're aware, and I'm very excited to share with you what we've got coming up. But without further ado, let's get into some freshly backed projects for February 2021. Okay, so for those of you who know me, you will know that I am a Cthulhu Mythos fan. I love it. The works of H.P. Lovecraft, Arkham Horror, all that jazz. I'm all about it. So when a deck building game came across my sites on Kickstarter in a Cthulhu or Lovecraftian Mythos theme, I just went, yep, take my money, give me the game. It's fantastic. I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. We're talking about Call of Madness. Now, Call of Madness is a deck building game where people are battling each other, and you can send investigators, i.e. the heroes of Arkham Horror, even not that it's an Arkham Horror game, but that helps you understand what I'm talking about, against your fellow cults. So you have cult versus cult, you have a solo mode, you have evil ancient ones that you can try to attempt to awaken. But sometimes it's good to be the bad guy, and you can actually use your cultists to send them out into the world to cause trouble for the other cults that are working against you. You can even take out some of those investigators as well, as pesky investigators that are trying to thwart your plans. So imagine Arkham Horror as a deck builder, rather than just deck construction and everything else as an LCG. But imagine that you're on the evil side as opposed to the investigator side. That's why I backed this game. That concept is amazing. I love that. So basically, yeah, being able to play this game as an evil member of an evil cult or an evil leader of an evil cult, play cards to cause trouble, send cultists out into the fray, and basically try and build the cult as much as I can before the game ends, and have the most opposing force, basically just overwhelm everyone else. That appeals to me. That appeals to my sick side, I guess. But Cult of Madness is, I don't know, I just think that appeals to me, and it will appeal to a lot of gamers. Obviously it did, because it did very well, was overfunded. The stretch goals for this game were amazing. And at this stage, I believe it's slated for August this year, so it's not too far away, COVID permitting. So hopefully we'll be able to get that to the table and show you what it's all about. When the Pledge Manager opens, of course, if you are one of our generals, you will be able to jump on board as well. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, by all means, hit us up, reach out to us, and you can get in on board and get your copy as well. But yes, that's Cult of Madness? Yeah, Call of Madness, I should say. Call of Madness. Too many cults in my head. And we look forward to seeing that in August 2021. Fingers crossed. That's our first game for this update. Now we come to little tiny card battling game. There's a few card battlers on this list this month, but that's okay. A card battling game that our friends over at Board Game Coffee first put up a bit of a notification about, and when they talked about what the game's theme was and how it was going to work, I went, nah, that's it, I'm all in. This is a little a little card battling game called Radlands. Now it has finished its run on Kickstarter with resounding success. And it's a game where you will play as one side opposite another side. It's only a 2v2 player game. 1v1 player game, I should say. And you'll have 3 settlements, and you will try and eliminate your opponent's settlements to salvage their precious water first. Now you share a deck as well. This isn't where you have a deck of cards versus a deck of cards. You have different settlements that give you different play abilities. And then you have a deck of cards that is shared by both players. Cards can be played face down as generic raiders, I guess, or they can be played face up and you spend the resource cost. So there is a huge amount of replayability and complexity and strategy with this little card dueling game. Really liking the style, and the cards are not just a cardboard cardstock, they're like a plastic coated or plastic stock, so you can actually bend them, they bend back into shape. It's awesome. The little tile pieces representing the water are fantastic. There's even a shared resource pool if you ever gain more water than you start the game with. The ability track allowing you to play events that tick down like a ticking time bomb and then go off when they reach your opponent's part of the board. Love it. The Radlands looks great. It's meant to arrive around September 21. However, However, I will say that I've just been notified as early as this morning, by the time as of this recording, that they've run into a bit of trouble with an IP dispute issue, and the campaign has actually been removed from Kickstarter altogether temporarily. So what that means, I don't know. As soon as I find out a bit more information about it, I will be posting an update, because it looks as though for whatever reason, someone's claiming that Radlands is their game, or that their IP of Radlands is their game. It's a little bit Mad Maxy in some aspects, so I don't know whether that's been some sort of copyright infringement. Who knows? Needless to say, Radlands is still going ahead. They are still making the game. It's just a question of who is going to be taking control pending that IP issue. Interesting to see how that goes. It's the first time I've come across it on Kickstarter. If you have backed other projects on Kickstarter or other crowdfunding services that have had an IP dispute, what was the outcome? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Radlands at this stage, as I said, September 21, looking like it's going to be an amazing game in a very, very, very small box, ton of portability. Highly recommend that you can check it out. If it becomes back on Kickstarter, if it returns to Kickstarter. If it doesn't, and you are part of our gamer army, you can always hit us up and get your late pledge in, and we will help you out in that respect. And that is Radlands, and hopefully it'll be back on Kickstarter very, very soon. From Radlands to another game that has an R in the start of its title. This is a game that created by Colossal Games, who, for those of you who've been watching, you will have seen we backed Terrors of London back in the day, another deck builder, which is a fantastic deck builder, by the way, lots of gothic art. Reload is by Colossal Games, and that is a game, it's a game that is very reminiscent of, pretty much every massively multiplayer game on the interwebs at the moment. It's got reminiscent issues of Apex, it's got Fortnite, it's got all sorts of crazy stuff as well. So Reload is a game that is very much a battle royale. You will have cybernetic constructs, I guess, or robots. They're not human as such, that will dive into the fray, and you will use those avatars to move around the map, picking up resources, picking up weapons, picking up beacons that you can then transfer for victory points, and trying to build your fame track. And ultimately, at the end of the rounds, at the end of the game, whoever has the highest fame track will be crowned the champion of Reload. And of course, you get the biggest fame boost bonus by dispatching your opponents. Now, the game originally came with a handful of minis and different characters, lots of cards and things, and then standees that you can move around the board. There is, of course, the deluxe option to get mini sculpts and things as well, including add-on packs with extra characters, all sorts of other crazy stuff. The map tiles are hexes that you can mix and match and interchange, so the maps are customizable, which I really love. You can even put in fences that block other players from moving through them. You can shoot through them, they can't come through them. There's so much going on. You can lay traps for your opponents. Lots going on, lots of dice combat, lots of crazy action, and it's fast. It plays really, really quickly, which I think some of the playthroughs I've watched, most of them have been about 45 minutes tops, which means you can get a good couple of rounds in and still come back for more, particularly as you play different maps, different mods. There's a CTF mode, all sorts of different things, as well as, of course, just the Royal Rumble Battle Royale extraordinaire that is Reload. I'm really looking forward to getting this to the table, partly because it's relatively kid-friendly, because they're not humans attacking humans as such. So this is a game that Charlotte could enjoy, although that worries me because her dice rolling is much better than mine. But Reload promises to be a great little battling experience that is not too heavy on the thought process, and it's not too rules heavy. There's rewards you can get for doing certain things. There's achievements at the end of the game if you have the most reloads, forcing players to reload, that sort of stuff. But it's not too over the top in terms of its rules. You literally move on a turn, you roll, that sort of stuff. It's pretty straightforward. And I think it's a game that tends to allow you to replay, or the replay value is high because you've got the customizable map. If it was just one board that was reversible, it wouldn't be as fun. Having the hexes to be able to customize the islands that you play on, I think, is fantastic. And the different battle modes as well. So you play that CTF mode, you play the Battle Royale mode, you play the team mode. Adds for a lot of replayability just out of the box, which I think is fantastic as well. So at this stage, I think they're on target. They've only just finished their campaign. Now they're taking a bit of downtime before they open Pledge Manager. When that happens, obviously you can get on board. But Reload by Colossal is definitely one worth checking out if you haven't already. If you missed the Kickstarter, they are taking late pledges, so you can jump on board. I highly recommend you check it out. It looks like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. Okay, we have saved the best for last. Moving into our last two freshly backed projects that I want to talk about. Now, you can decide. I'll let you decide. I think they're both as amazing as each other, but I'll let you decide. If you've got comments on which one you think is the better project, by all means, pop them in the project below. If you are watching this as one of our Gamer Generals and you're watching it in February when it was shot, these campaigns are still running, so you can jump on board and get in there and back those projects and obviously get involved and get all the bonuses and goodies as well. If not, if you're watching this in March, late pledge managers will be available, so you can jump on board with us and join us on our Kickstarter or GameFound journey. Which brings me to the next project I want to talk about. This is one that's not on Kickstarter, it is on GameFound. It is, of course, Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising. Now, this game has so much going on. It has so much going on. I mean, the core box alone has so many heroes. Now, those of you familiar with Kickstarter's Kingdom Rush Rift in Time, which is, of course, a board game based on the series of apps that are out there, Tower Defense, that sort of thing. It is a board game version of the acclaimed and highly successful Tower Defense games that mostly, I think, are successful on iOS. They're probably on Android and a few other things as well. But Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising is the pseudo sequel to that game. There are components of it that are backwards compatible, but otherwise it is a standalone sequel. And you have the option on GameFound to go back and get all of the Kingdom Rush Rift in Time stuff as well. It's going to be incredibly expensive, but the gameplay replayability that this allows, or this will allow you to do, I don't know, there's something about building up defenses and then having these unwavering hordes of enemies marching towards you and then watching them get picked off by your archer towers and upgraded mortar towers and everything else as well. And the fact that you've got unique mini sculpts for all the different heroes that you can choose from. Game trays have come on board and give you a little player set that you can mount all the different individual player pieces in, and that's per player, so you will get one right out of the box. You can grab a tray and just jump straight in, which I love. All the boards are game ready as well. So you literally have your tray for the game, put all the tiles in, and you're set. You literally lift the lid off the box and you're up and playing within about 5 minutes, which is fantastic. I love it. The add-ons. Now, they're teasing and teasing and teasing. You start off with a core box, which has a ton of stuff in it, and then stretch goals. And then now they're bringing in optional add-on buys, which allow you to extend your gameplay, little mini expansions, things like that. I'm not a huge fan of the adding on, oh, look, you're already invested for $100, what's $10 more? Some of it's okay. It depends on the content. If I'm going to get a lot of extra gaming experience for the $10 to $20 that you're asking me for, bear in mind that's US, not Australian, okay, we can talk about it. But if you're just giving me cosmetic stuff, I mean, minis are great. Don't get me wrong, I love me a good mini. But if it's literally just a mini upgrade or it's a card upgrade in the box, a deluxe component set, I'm not necessarily going to part with my good money. Give me something good for that expansion. Give me a lot of gameplay. The beauty of this is they've done that. Those gameplay expansions for Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising are so damn good. It's literally a whole new game add-on, a whole new expansion for literally the 15 or 20 bucks they're asking for. So it is worth getting that expansion. It is worth getting those bits and pieces. In some cases, it's worth going for the gameplay all in. Yes, you don't get all the deluxe upgrades, but everything for the gameplay to give you more options, more heroes to play with, more bosses to fight, more mini bosses to fight. It's worth it, I think, in my opinion, because you get all those gameplay options without all the extra faff that you need. The best part about this is they include the minis in those gameplay all-in tiers for those bosses as well, and some of the bosses' sculpts are huge, like a good 8 centimeters off the board when the heroes are only 20 mil. It's just amazing detail. Lucky Duck Games have just knocked this one out of the park, and the campaign still has time to go. So what happens between here and now is anyone's guess. As a person who has played Rift in Time and has played the Kingdom Rush stuff on iOS, I love it. It's one of the best tower defense games that I can think of. When I think of tower defense, it's the forefront of my mind, other than things like Castle Panic, which is a great one as well. If you don't know about that one, check it out. But Kingdom Rush Elemental Uprising, Looks like it's going to be just as fantastic as Rift in Time, if not better. And the little stick-on upgrades with their suction cup technology they're putting out, it's just going to be incredible. There's not much more I can say about this game except that you need to get on GameFound and have a look and see what you think yourself. It is going to be an amazing project, an amazing board game experience, and I wouldn't want you to miss out. So jump on board GameFound, have a look at Elemental Uprising. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And let me know if you think it takes precedence over our next big box game that we've backed for February 2021. Let's get into that, shall we? Okay, here we go. Our final project we freshly backed for February 2021 is a biggie. Now, this is something that I've been following along in project development, and I followed along the creator. I've backed one of their projects before in the past. But this is the first in this line that I have backed on Kickstarter. Having played a few different iterations, I'm excited to see what this brings to the table. There are a few new mechanics that I'm really excited for. And at the moment, currently, we are all in on this pledge. Now, I say currently at the moment because the campaign is still running and they keep adding stuff that I want. I'm scared about where this is heading. I'm scared about my bank account, but at the same time, I'm not really. I am talking about the one, the only Zombicide Undead or Alive. Now, this is the latest in the Zombicide installment. I think it's their 9th different Zombicide game. There are so many, it is ridiculous. There's a second edition of the original Zombicide that's come out. There's Zombicide Night of the Living Dead, which is due for release on our store, so you can pre-order that one. That's coming out, I think, in May. I could be wrong, maybe it's June. Zombicide Invader, Zombicide Black Plague. There's so many different options and lots of different add-ons as well. But Zombicide Undead or Alive has a very much a Western flavour, and backing it on Kickstarter means that you get the stretch goals box as well as the base game. Now, the core game had 8 different survivors, I think, and can play 1 to 6 players. Awesome dice that look like little wooden, have like a poker flavor, which is cool. Lots of components, train tiles, so there's a train that actually causes trouble throughout the course of the game, as well as a Gatling gun to mow down hordes of the undead, and some crazy Western style sculpts. And I mean Western, I mean like Old West style sculpts for the zombies. There's also the survivors. Since the campaign launched, which is literally not even a week into the campaign, there have been a huge amount of upgrades to the base game alone. I think they've burned through about 16 extra different survivors. There's like 30 in the core box now, or a core box pledge, I should say, along with different upgrades for different individual sculpts for zombies. There's the Gatling gun's awesome, more abominations, more all sorts of crazy stuff for the fatty sculpts as well. In addition, they've already announced a special custom pack for long dead walkers or long dead zombies or whatever the case is. I can't remember the exact name, which is an add-on additional buy, which has like skeletal zombies that don't have flesh that your bullets can tear through, so they are much harder to kill. In addition, there's an extra dice pack they're throwing out, which has black and white and red poker style dice, again wooden style dice, which I think is like, I hope the dice have a bit of weight. I don't want some just cheaply produced stuff. I want good quality stuff, but it's CMON, so it's going to be amazing. And then, of course, they've got all the extra bits for the expansion, the steampunk version in the West. There's a separate add-on pack. So there's the core box, the stretch goals box, and the guns and gears, I think, steampunk expansion, which has basically a whole new story mode that you can play through, lots of missions, extra tiles, that sort of stuff as well, and a new class. So each of the survivors has class, whether they're brawlers, gunslingers, religious, that sort of stuff. And then you've got the steampunk class that comes in with the expansion. There is a ton of stuff already unlocked for this campaign, and we are still very early into it. I can see what's going to happen. I'm going to be adding on. They're going to release another add-on pack for something, and I'm probably going to want to stang that because I'm already invested. What's a few dollars more? It's what I was talking about for Elemental Uprising earlier. But Zombicide Undead or Alive just looks to be a very unique flavor and entry into the Zombicide universe, and I am all about it. At this stage, they're on target for March 2022. I think a lot of these CMON games, though, do have delays, sometimes of up to 6 months. Who knows what coronavirus is going to throw in the mix there. But obviously, as the rest of the world starts to move out of COVID, hopefully things will return to normality. So maybe 6 months is not too much of a long stretch to ask. And hey, it'll be worth the wait. I'm pretty sure it will be. Zombicide, Undead or Alive, we've backed it. You can jump on board as well. I highly recommend you check it out. If you haven't played a Zombicide game, there's no better time to jump on board. If you haven't played, if you have no idea what Zombicide is about, what are you doing? Jump on our website, have a look at the Zombicide base game, have a look at Zombicide Night of the Living Dead, and get your copy before they all sell out. It just promises to be a great experience, and I look forward to hitting the table because you can play it solo, so I can take on the hordes of zombies on my own. And because it's a Zombicide game in the 3rd or 4th generation, you get all the character trays as well, so you can actually have all the bits and pieces. Oh, and the Guns and Gears expansion for Steampunk means you can craft weapons. You can actually build bits and pieces and actually craft weapons that don't take up inventory slots, which means they exist in perpetuity. You gain the effects all the time. It's so good. I'm so excited for this one. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens when it hits the table and we just go nuts with all the zombies and minis. The table will just not be big enough. I'm really excited for it. And that is Zombicide for Zombicide Undead or Alive, and that is our last of our freshly backed updates for February 2021. And that is it. That is all the project updates we have and all the freshly backed information we have for you for February 2021. Is there something that we missed? By all means, let us know in the comments below. What projects are your favorite? Which ones are you most excited to see us unbox and play through for you? Are you looking forward for us doing a live version of this show as well? Maybe we're looking at something that is our top picks or something like that, our pre-order games, things like that. Trying to think of some other content and things you might be interested in as well. Is there, as I said, if there's something that we've mentioned on our list that you really want to see, by all means, please let us know. Very excited to keep bringing you the Got You Backer series. It's been an adventure and a journey going through all the different games and discovering all the different projects that are available. It is a great time to be playing board games at the moment, and there's lots of new content and great games out there to come our way. Now, as I mentioned at the outset, if you do want to join our gamer army and become one of our gamer generals and get a heap of awesome rewards, you can do so by hitting up the address on your screen. Once again, www.patreon.com/HPGamingAU. And you can always hit us up on the website, hpgaming.com.au, or hit us up with an email as well if you like, orders@hpgaming.com.au if you don't want to post public comments, and we'll be able to get back to you ASAP. Now, as I said, I'm going to be doing some crazy stuff. Got some unboxings coming up, some playthroughs coming up as well. So keep checking back in. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay in touch and stay up to date with everything we do here at HP Gaming and GameLINK. And we look forward to seeing you back at the table for our next video very, very soon. But until then, it is bye for now.